Tiffanys Canton, and we are in Rio Grande, the big river in Eagle Pass, Texas, where a lot of migrants are now crossing. They have put razor wire up, trying to board over the ocean. It is really a lot of families out there trying to get over. It is a massive problem for our states right now. That's right in the Gulf of Mexico, where they're crossing over illegally and is not turning back. We're going to watch a video because right now it's a huge problem for the migrants. I want everybody to comment below. The video that we're going to watch is very touching. You're going to see people coming over in boats and just all types of things. We have patrol out there, but honestly, it's just bad with the big waves. It's dangerous out there. We're still in hurricane season, so make sure that you're commenting on the video. We now have ocean borders. Let me know what you think about that. It's a lot going on.
A record number of migrants crossing into the U.S., pushing resources to the limit in many American cities. Now hospitals are sounding the alarm, saying they're also overwhelmed, including some far from the border. Julia Ainsley has our report.
Tonight, the border crisis surging. Officials telling NBC News there were over 200,000 illegal crossings at the southern border last month, and a record 3 million migrants crossed the border in the last year. Now, a new warning 1,000 miles away in New York City, where officials tell us resources are overwhelmed. Across public hospitals in New York City over the last year, nearly 30,000 visits by migrants and 300 new babies born to migrant moms. Staff here at Bellevue Hospital tell us they're eager to help, but the numbers are tough.
This has been the hardest work that I've ever done, but it's been the most impactful work that I've ever done.
And most of the visits to the taxpayer-funded legal clinic here are by migrants.
Our clinics are full, and there are waiting lists, and people are turning people away or referring them to other places.
Randy Redkin from New York's Legal Assistance Group says so many migrants are asking for legal help on asylum representation and health care access. Now, she says, American citizens who need legal assistance with issues like eviction and insurance have to wait up to 10 weeks.
If you ask me, do we need more resources for legal services? I would say absolutely yes.
Meanwhile, New York's governor now slamming the situation at the border.
It is too open right now. People coming from all over the world are finding their way through, simply saying they need asylum.
And New York Mayor Eric Adams saying providing services for migrants will cost city taxpayers $12 billion. But Biden administration officials have blamed Adams' response. It is not an operationally sound effort, one senior DHS official told NBC News. Meanwhile, migrants on the streets are desperate for city help. We met Orlando, who fled violence in Venezuela. He didn't want to appear on camera, telling us he slept on the street before coming to Bellevue for cancer treatment.
How is that for you, given your medical condition, to be sleeping on the street?
You have to make believe it's a good bed, a king size, and you lie down wherever and go to sleep, he says. Orlando tells us he came to New York because he heard about the social services the city would offer to migrants like himself, who were trying to start a new life.
The Biden administration recently granted temporary legal status to nearly 500,000 Venezuelans, allowing them to work. Today, Governor Hochul announced there are 18,000 jobs now available to eligible migrants.
Last few days, we've had over 8,000 individuals that are coming in. Some areas get a lot more activity, like El Paso and certainly the Eagle Pass area. But look, everybody talks about, the border. You can send more personnel. You can do certain things. But that's playing defense on the 1 yard line. If we don't play defense on their 20-yard line and extend it and have repercussions at the border, also, people are going to come in. I know that sometimes people say, well, it's seasonal. Yeah, there is an aspect of seasonality, but a lot of it has to be that, if the criminal organizations are promoting and getting people here and saying this is a time to cross, yes, these numbers are coming in. Look what's happened at the Darien Gap. I mean, there are large numbers, and we're not doing enough to stop them at their 20-yard line, and everything is being done here at the 1 yard line called the U.S. Mexico border.
And so, Congressman, what do you see as the solution to this?
Well, look, I'm looking at your split screen here, and I'm seeing DPS. We're seeing Border Patrol. We're seeing they're talking about sending more military folks over there. And they're just helping folks come in. I mean, look at what we're seeing right now. You got to have a policy where you actually return people back. You got to do that. Otherwise, people are going to keep coming. If you don't detain people, if you don't send people back, then the border becomes a speed bump. And what I worried about is now my counterparts on the other party. If we don't do a CR, we're going to have a shutdown. And I've talked to Border Patrol agents. I've talked to Border Patrol chiefs. They're going to keep working. And they got families. They got bills to pay. And while they're working and then this stress builds up with large numbers, it's going to be a very difficult time for our men and women in green, and we got to help them instead of having a government shutdown.
And if there is the government shutdown, as you very well state, the Border Patrol would have to continue working, even though they would not be getting paid for it because they are essential employees of the federal government. But Congressman, it's so difficult because the fact is that you have tens of thousands of people, as you accurately state, are going through the Darien Straits as we speak. And many more are on their way there. They have to do that dangerous trek through Mexico. There's not been one person that I've spoken to in the last 2 years that has gone through that tells me that the most difficult and horrendous part is going through Mexico. Is there something that could be done? You talk about the 20-yard line. All right, let's talk about the 20-yard line. Is there something that could be done with Mexico, in cooperation with Mexico, or with maybe even the Central American countries that are, just the whole area there?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's playing defense on the 1-yard line. First of all, one of the things we need to do is give authorities a homeland where they can do their work outside the U.S. border. And that means a lot. Just think about the authorities that Homeland does, and then working with Mexico and working with Guatemala, Panama, Colombia. What happened to those regional border processing centers that we were supposed to set up in Panama and Colombia? And if we don't, all they're going to do is just keep coming over here. The criminal organizations know exactly what they're doing. They're saying, promoting this is a time to cross, because every time somebody crosses, depending $5,000, $8,000 an individual, the only ones that are making money are the criminal organizations. And you're right, they're coming through a very difficult time. And there's ways that we can work with those countries. We got to work with those countries. Keep in mind that, under President Obama, there was at one time that Mexico was actually stopping more people at their southern border with Guatemala than the U.S. Border Patrol was doing. That's what we need to do, is we got to work with those countries. And if we need to put a little pressure on Mexico and the other countries to work with us, let's go ahead and do that and get the job done. I know some of our DHS officials and headquarters, because I talked to them, they're going down to Mexico. The U.S. consulates and the embassy is talking to the Mexicans to stop those people from getting on the trains to come over here. They got to do a lot more. There's ways that we can do it, but we got to change some of the authorities and change the mindset that we play defense at the 1-yard line. Because look at your images. You can send a lot more Border Patrol agents. You can send a lot more DPS. You can send the military there. But what do they actually do when somebody hits the U.S. border? Tell me what they do. And that tells you got to have repercussions of policies and do the work outside on their 20-yard line.
Make sure you comment on the video. Make sure you subscribe. We need 200 more subscribers. It's Tiffanys content. Like, share, subscribe.